Welcome to Rental Property News. I'm Heather Anderson. Let's get started on our top story. This is Brandon Turner. He is with Bigger Pockets. He is one of the founding members and one of the main founding members, if not the founding member of Bigger Pockets. I'm not sure. You might know. But he is a big dog at Bigger Pockets. And he has been teaching us about real estate through the great network reference community that is Bigger Pockets. That's been basically our number one resource in real estate investing that I know of for well over a decade. And this is a video that he did 5 years ago, because in order to prepare for the future, we must first learn from the past. This was in 2019 before COVID. And let's take a look and see how he answers the question, how much cash flow should your rental properties produce? Let's check it out.
All right, so a buddy of mine texted me the other day and said, hey, Brandon, I got this real estate deal I want to buy, and it should produce between $100 and $200 per month in cash flow. Is that a good deal? What do you think? All right, so here's what I responded with. Basically, $100 to $200, people oftentimes hear me say that. I host a webinar every week on Bigger Pockets, biggerpockets.com/webinar, where I talk about this idea of I generally aim for $100 to $200 in cash flow per unit that I buy. So if it's a duplex, I want $200 minimum. If it's a fourplex, I want $400 minimum. And that's cash flow, like leftover in my pocket after all of the bills have been paid. After everything's said and done, I want at least a minimum of $100 per month per unit on a multifamily or a single family house. I usually aim for about $200. Again, after all of the bills have been paid. Now I say that, but then there's a caveat there, because it really depends on how big the deal is, right? I mean, think about it this way. If you were to spend $1 million, you were to invest $1 million into any kind of investment, and you were making $100 a month, is that a good deal? I mean, it doesn't sound like a very good deal, right? But if you were to invest $5 into an investment and every single month you made $100, that's the best investment in the world, right? And so the idea of a cash flow per unit or cash flow per door is a great metric, is a great metric, but it's only one metric that you can really go by. And so there's another metric that we care a lot about as well, and that is cash on cash return. That's another metric I look at a lot. Cash on cash return says, what percentage of my investment did I make back this year in cash flow? So to do some basic math, if you invested $1,000 into an investment and you made back $100 in the whole year, that is a 10% return. So cash on cash return is how much money you made in profit in cash flow during the year divided by how much money you put into the deal. So going back to my buddy who asked me, is $100 or $200 maybe a good deal for this single family house that he wants to buy? Well, the question I asked him was, well, how much money you put into it? His answer was $74,000. Okay, well, it's some basic math, right? So if you were making, let's go with the higher number, $200 per month, every single month. If you were making $200 a month in cash flow every single month, and then that's $2,400 a year, 2,400 divided by 74,000 is 3.2%. So 3.2% cash on cash return. Now, is that a good deal? Well, for me, no. My minimum that I generally aim for is between 10 and 12%. I want to see like 12% real. Now, why did I pick that number? Well, on average, the stock market has averaged between 6 and 7% over the past 100 years. So I was like, well, I want to get a lot better than that. So 12% became a really good rule of thumb for me. Now, I can't just rely on 12% because, you got to also look at the total amount of cash flow you're getting. I mean, here's why. If you invested $1 into a real estate deal, $1, and you made $2 a year, $2 a year in profit, is that worth all the headache of putting into a real estate deal? Probably not, because you're only getting $2 a year, but that's a 200% cash on cash return. Shouldn't you do it? Well, no, because it's only $2. I don't care. So I look at both those numbers. I look at cash on cash return of a minimum 12%. I might go slightly lower than that if I believe in the market is doing a really well appreciation wise. Like if property value is going to climb. In fact, I actually just bought a property, or I'm closing on it tomorrow, here on the island of Maui in Hawaii. And I'm only going to get like just under 10% return. Now, why would I do that? Why would I violate my rules? Because it's Maui and I believe that prices on an island are going to go up really well. So that's just, I will budge a little bit. But I want both those things. I want at minimum $100 per month per unit personally. and I want minimum 12% cash on cash return. That's my general line of thought. Then there's one more metric that I look at, and that's overall return. There's a couple ways to look at it. Some people look at IRR, which is called internal rate of return. I kind of look at just average rate of return. There's, again, a few different formulas for figuring it out, but it kind of tells you the same thing. The idea is, if you hold this property for, let's say, 5 or 10 years and property values go up a little bit, the loan gets paid down a little bit, over that time frame, what's my average return each year? And so for that, I typically shoot for around 15%. So when I go into an investment, I typically want to see about 15%. In fact, I'm doing like a big syndication deal right now where I'm raising money for a big real estate deal, a big mobile home park conglomerate that I'm buying. And so that was always the metric that we were aiming to beat. I wanted to be able to give investors at least 15%. Because you do your own deals. That was the logic behind picking that 15% number in our syndication funds. So that's kind of the idea of how I look at a deal, whether or not I'm going to do it or not, whether or not I get the $100 per month per unit minimum. That's just a base hit. I'd actually like more than that, but that's minimum for a average blue collar type property. And then 12% cash on cash return, and then a 15% average return per year. And again, if you want to look at IRR or some more complicated metrics like that, you can. So, if you like this video, make sure you give me that thumbs up button below the video and let me know you want more informational videos like this on
Well, apparently 13,000 people gave a thumbs up. So great job there, Brandon, and your 1.25 million subscribers to date with BiggerPockets. And what do you guys think? So Brandon gave us some great terms. Number 1, cash on cash return. Number 2, IRR. Okay, let's unfreeze Brandon's face so it's not
real estate investing.
There we go. Beardy Brandon. Okay, so also he talked about the overall return, or IRR he mentioned. And okay, how do you value property? I want you to pay attention to that he says, hey, here's a general rule, $100 per door. But you see, there's always a but. And how does he, when he figures out his IRR, there's a calculation for that. But he might look at his total return differently than other investors. And that's another thing that's a little hidden behind the layers here when you hear things like this video online, because different people evaluate their portfolios in a different way. Our calculator looks at the 4 ways to make money in rental property investing: cash on cash return, appreciation, mortgage pay down, and tax strategy. Those 4 ways. And our calculator combines all that and figures out the total return. And he said he likes to see 15% or more. We like to see 10% or more. He doesn't want to do a deal if it's $100, minimum $100 a month cash flow. We don't like to do a deal if it's at least break even or more. But honestly, DFW is turning into a negative cash flow market, and it just simply is when investors are putting 25% down. And we're turning more into an equity market. Like Maui is an equity market. So he mentioned he's doing a deal in Maui. So let's check it out. You see, I looked up in 2019 what the average price for a single family home is in Maui. Maybe he was doing a condo, probably, maybe not, who knows. But in 2019, median sales price for a single family home in Maui was $840,000. Okay. And in 2025, well, again, this is a median of $1 million. Okay. A median of $1 million, average of 1.2. Well, 800 to 1 million is, that would be about 25% increase. If the average was also, I could put average, the average was also 840,000 in 2019. And the average was 1.2, that would be a 50% increase from then to now, if that's even true. Okay. This is, again, AI overview, so you can't take this data exactly. We didn't do a deep dive, but Brandon knows a thing or two, for sure. He is very successful, real estate entrepreneur and VP of growth at biggerpockets.com, one of the world's largest real estate investing communities, probably the world's largest. He is also the author of many books, and he bought his first rental property at 21. He quickly grew his portfolio to over 40 units using a variety of creative finance methods. So he knows a thing or two, but where he's at his journey is not necessarily where you're at in your journey. So rule of thumb, take what you like and leave the rest. At the end of the day, Brandon is just a normal, humble guy, just like you and just like me, from his own post. No matter how big your portfolio gets or how legendary your beard is, family will keep you humble, according to his Instagram. I think a lot of people can agree there's nothing more humbling than being a husband and a father. You could own 13,000 rental units, be a best-selling author, a podcast host, and still wife tells you to take out the trash and kids say, "You made my sandwich wrong, Dad." Keeps me grounded every time. So that's just the truth of it. And we'll also check out one of his ex posts. Brandon Turner, I help people build wealth through real estate investing without losing their soul. Amen to that. That's possible, dear friends. He loves Jesus. Amen. Me too. He loves family, although I don't have one yet, but I know Jesus will bring me one. And a beard in that order. Amen. Okay, so financially free in 5 years through rental properties. Is that possible? Was his post. Let's see when this post was. This was in this year, 2025. We're back 5 years ahead. We've taken the magic time machine, my dear friends. And the question too is also, is this possible? $100 per door per rental property? Always possible. Why? There's a variety of ways to get there. Certain markets will yield this return. Number one. Number two, certain classes of properties will yield this return. Higher risk properties yield higher demand. If you're buying a brand new construction, beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood with excellent schools that's sought after, you're not getting $100 a door, probably. But if you're buying a neighborhood that has a little more risk, maybe a C tenant, or that has maybe you don't have to do much to the property due to supply and demand, maybe that's an example. Or one thing you could always do to yield this cash flow goal is increase your down payment. Okay. We didn't get a whole lot into percentages. I know he ran that quick percentage to get that 3% cash on cash return. And then he started talking about the stock market yield. But you could always increase your down payment. If getting $100 a month to you is a core tenant, increase your down payment. That would always achieve that goal to get to $100 cash flow per month. Okay. You could also do different strategies. If you could do room shares, you could do co-living, rental property, you could do Airbnb investing. You could find other strategies to potentially get to that $100 a month cash flow. But he's saying in 2025, can you be financially free in 5 years through rental property? Is it doable? Yes. Here's the 8 steps to get free in 5. Free in 5. I like that. Lock in your monthly expenses and trim down if possible. Don't let the expense creep make financial freedom impossible, forever increasing how much you spend. Number 2, define your goal. What is that freedom number? Okay, he says aim for 2 times your normal monthly expenses. Number 3, educate yourself in real estate strategy that maximizes cash flow. Number 4, understand how to really calculate cash flow. 90% of new investors are lying to themselves on what it actually costs to own rentals. Number 5, determine how you will fund your deals. Number 6, begin your lapse funnel. Get consistent with high quality leads. Number 7, use the stack method. Start small and double your deal size each time you buy. Duplex, quadruplex, 8plex, 16, 30, 64, financial free. Surround yourself with others who are on the same journey. Absolutely. I can't tell you how much accountability and community matter, my dear friends. That's it. It's not very complicated, but one final tip, believe in yourself. You can do it if you do it. So we found 2 things, one from 2019 and one from 2025 that are still true today. Now let's see what he's saying on this really great podcast. It's 54 minutes. It's worth the listen. I heard the whole thing. However, I didn't want to play the whole thing on this episode because it would be so long, my dear friends, and then you wouldn't have anything to do. So if you would like some homework, this is it. What's working in real estate in 2025, episode 135 from Brandon Turner's YouTube channel, not BiggerPockets, his personal YouTube channel. 30,000 subscribers. I'm already one of those. And 168 likes. I'll go ahead and be the 169th, just like I would love for you to do, my dear friends, would you be so kind to be our 68th subscriber on our YouTube channel, Rental Property U? We can see we've posting a lot of videos, not as many as Brandon, but we're working on it to be another contributor to this awesome life-changing space. And we are a value for value company. That means we ask for our patrons, our subscribers, our Voyagers to consider how they can spread the word and the good news and be a part of this movement. It's exciting movement, the American dream alive and well through rental property investing, where you can share your time, treasure, and talent, my dear friend, by liking or subscribing our YouTube channel or other social medias, or coming to our website and saying, hey, click this button right here and reach out to us and see if there's other things you can contribute with your talent or your treasure, which is your money. We're going to have some cryptocurrency links set up soon. We're working on that. We'll have ways for you to contribute, but we are also working on a book. This is the working title, but I believe it's going to be changed. We just had a new revelation in the title of the book, but consider just going to our website and checking it out and learning how to be a part of this movement. All right, now back to what's working in 2025 with Brandon Turner. Let's check it out.
Henry Washington, dude, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Good to see you.
You too, man. So let's jump right into it. Tell us 30 seconds. Who are you? What do you do? Tell us your quick bio.
Henry Washington, real estate investor out of Northwest Arkansas, mostly invest in single family, small multifamily properties. We have a portfolio of about 110-ish units, and we flip about 20 houses a year.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I love that market too. I've got a few different friends that all invest there. It's a solid market. We're going to tell everyone to go there and just make it impossible for you to buy.
It's already happening. Thank you.
It's like the last bastion of cash flow in America. All right, man. So the goal of this talk is what is working for you this year, 2025? What are you doing? We got 4 kind of categories. Strategy, like what's working strategy-wise. How you getting deals? How you getting money? What's working for money? And then anything else, like what's just working in your life right now?
Yep.
So why don't we just start with the first one? Like what's strategy-wise? What's working?
The strategy that's working, it hasn't really changed much. We're still direct to seller, off market marketing for deals. One of the things that we have done more of recently is marketing specifically for properties that either have big lots or separate lots. Because what I'm finding is I'm able to buy properties and essentially get a lot for free. And I'm just kind of banking land. And a lot of the times we're looking at building on that new land this year. And because I got the land for free, it really helps me, helps the numbers in terms of profitability on the build. So we're probably going to do our first new construction, build to sell and build to rent in 2025.
That's cool. I really like that strategy, the build to rent. I interviewed a woman on my podcast a while ago named Stephanie Betters, and that's what they do, just by the hundreds, I think, out in like the East Coast. It's wild, but it's cool because you can kind of design a property based on what you know is going to cash flow well.
Yeah, it's cool, and this strategy anybody can do. Not the build to rent, that takes a little more skill, but buying property that has basically free, you can just collect free land. I probably collected about 10 lots over the past couple of years that I'm just sitting on. And sometimes, and it's super beneficial because I've actually been able to buy properties really essentially like feels like you're buying them for free. Because in some situations, because I had the extra lot, I was able to sell the property for a higher value and sell that lot to the new buyer, or sell that lot to a developer and then use that money to pay me back for my down payments.
Huh. Are you subdividing the property, like legally subdividing? Is that how that works?
Sometimes if I buy it and it's all in one lot, then we'll subdivide it. And then when I sell the flip on the other piece of land, it pays off my piece of land.
Yeah. How hard is it to subdivide? I've never done subdivision.
The few times I've had to do it, it's been fairly easy. It really is going to depend on your municipality. There's weird rules sometimes.
Yeah, they have a thing out here in Hawaii called the CPR. I don't know if that's a Hawaii only term, but it's essentially the same idea. As you can take a property, divide it in half or in thirds, as long as it has certain things, like it's got to have road access, and then you can sell that off separately. And so there's a strategy here where people will, and then each one can have an ADU on it, right? Or maybe even 2. So you could take a big house or a house with a decent amount of land, and then put a separate house on it. And then each of those houses can have an ADU. So you could essentially turn a single family house into a 4-plex legally, and maybe even a 6-plex if it's big enough.
It's a big enough plot. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool little strategy. I know they're doing that down in like San Diego as well. A lot of California places are doing the, subdivide and put up an ADU. So very cool. All right. Well, that's a cool strategy.
That is a cool strategy. I would agree. I loved hearing about that. Gosh, I don't know about you, dear friend. Does that make you excited to think about your bright future? What a cool strategy. What a cool strategy. Raw land, they're not making more of it, are they? Wouldn't you agree, my dear friend? And especially in America, the land of the free, home of the brave, this exciting place to be in 2025 and forever, as long as we are a country, because the land has value here, my dear friends. So, Mr. Washington, thank you for sharing your incredible time, treasure, and talent with us, sir, because here's his LinkedIn profile. Henry Washington, investor, author, and coach. See you at theclosingtable.com. And you can find him at that website and see what he has to offer. I know it's going to be nothing but the best. Hearing how he talks and how he thinks. And look, you can see his past here. He was a senior manager at Walmart. Okay, senior manager at Walmart. And then he came into, looks like he worked at the corporate, probably at the Bentonville Walmart, but he left a big job. He has a bachelor's degree, smart guy, clearly, but he left a big job to go into real estate full time. That tells you how much opportunity is in here. Wouldn't you agree to leave a corporate job, a high paying corporate job, to go to Independence Realty Group? I would agree. So check out Mr. Washington. See you at theclosingtable.com. And Mr. Brandon goes on to bring in 3 other investors. Okay. David Green.
Looking. So, there's that.
Also debatable. I'm more humble than you are. I can say that confidently.
I'm the most humble person in the world, man. I mean, you look up the definition of humble.
Myself can do.
And then he brings
this
in
sounds like a fun idea. I'm going to.
Brittany Amison, who does hotels and storage units.
Make our hotel in Belize is called Mariposa, which is butterfly in Spanish. So now I'm doing all these beautiful butterfly projects, and it just like feeds my soul. I love doing that stuff, but I don't have to, right? So that's
She's just talking about the beautiful life her portfolio has created for her. The life we all strive for is to, sit and do the things that we want to do, not have to do. And that's the pathway that real estate can provide. And as you can see, there's several pathways. And lastly, Thack Win.
The text, the flyers, blanket the city area where it has it. And then, of course, I work with a lot of realtor. I work with a lot of wholesaler. I work with a lot of other investors. I work with a lot of bankers. And then just a lot of social media. People know I buy property.
He is very communal and very loves people. He also loves to give big. Let's look at all 3 of their pages. So davidgreen24.com, green with an E on the end. He offers free tools, buyer's blueprint, house hacking guide, upcoming free webinars, sign up for a giveaway, 10 mistakes investors make. Get started. He has a podcast. You can contact him. He's a speaker. Here, David Green is, okay? And check it out. He also wrote a book, Pillars of Wealth, how to make, save, and invest. So check his website out. And then you can also check out BrittanyArnason.com. That's BrittanyArnason.com. You can see her beautiful website. You got a little bio video here, and then another buyer here. She goes by Investor Girl Britt. She's a real estate investor, educator, social media influencer. If you check out her website, she has some educational, Hotel Investor Academy, self-storage income program. Those are her 2 ways. My investment calculator, self-storage references. And then we have Thack, I think that's how you say his name, or Thack Win. This is his Instagram. So you can go to his Instagram, THACHNGUYEN, and you can check him out, okay? 5-day Retire with Rentals Challenge. Wow, what a gift. Look, it says, Fox Seattle says, local philanthropreneur helps raise millions to help Rave Foundation build more soccer fields for kids. Amen, Thak. Thank you for your big heart. And you can see, yeah, I think this guy loves what he does. So check out those. And also earlier in that video, you didn't hear this part, but Brandon mentioned they're having a REI summit. This one has already happened, as you can see. Okay, this one was on June 1st through the 3rd. However, I'm bringing this up because they will have more, okay? And you can plan for the 2026 one. You can put it on your vision board. You can get ready. You can prepare for this bright future, this huge, exciting experience with like-minded people just like you, to learn the industry you want to learn. It's never a bad decision to go to these. You can even see some of the people on that webinar. Henry, Thak were there in 2025. I'm sure they'll have very great people there in 2026. So consider that. And Bigger Pockets has been doing these a long time. You remember this video from 2012?
It's Josh Dorkin from BiggerPockets.com. I've actually got a serious question for you. Are you taking your real estate investing career seriously, or are you just horsing around? We're putting out.
We put this video in another episode of Rental Property News and just reminded you guys that, hey, Bigger Pockets was already talking about this stuff in 2012, and they talked about it again in 2019, and they're talking about it again in 2025, and they're going to be talking about it again in 2030 and 2050 and 2080. And this will never end. Even when we get to the moon, people are going to need to live in something, and there will always be renters. What side of the coin are you going to be on, my dear friend? Because you see, the key to getting ahead is getting started, my dear friend. And real estate always goes up. Also with Bigger Pockets, one of the problems they've identified is that people want to get started, but they don't know who to get started with. This is one of their programs they've launched a couple years ago, but it's called the Agent Finder, and they can help you find an agent if you don't know one to work with. If you want to work in the DFW market, feel free to go to our website and reach out to us. If you want to work in another market and you don't know who specializes in what you want to do, they will help you figure it out. Let's check out their commercial.
Investor-friendly real estate agent can be daunting, especially if you're looking to invest out of state. It can take days, even weeks of research, phone calls, and reference checks. But with Bigger Pockets Agent Finder, you can find a trusted, investor-friendly agent in just 2 minutes or less. Agent Finder makes it simple. All you have to do is specify your target market and investment criteria, and the technology does the rest. Instantly view relevant real estate agents that fit your needs, all at no cost to you. And the best part? You get to compare these agents by investor ratings and reviews, the number of deals they've closed, and their experience. They can help you find the right property in your target market, even from afar, with their knowledge of what works, what doesn't, where opportunities lie, and who to connect you with next to get your rental up and running reliably. So take your first step towards financial freedom today. Find your investor-friendly agent on Bigger Pockets Agent Finder now.
Like everything in life, my dear friend, there's going to be pros and cons, but at least this is a possible pathway, a real resource that you can look into to see if this is a right decision for you. Because at the end of the day, you need a specific realtor, if you want to work with a realtor, that can help you do what you want to do, that has experience in it. You don't need to be learning with the realtor. The realtor needs to bring experience to the table. That is just the truth, especially in these specialty things. So, my friend, we've been learning from the past, but let's go back a little further, because in order to prepare for the future, we must first learn from the past. And on this day in history was a sad day, because somebody that we knew that specialized in what they did very, very much, Steve Irwin, died on September 4th, 2006. Killed by a stingray. He was 44 years old, but his legacy continues. How do you want your legacy to continue, because just like Thatch, he is investing in communities and using his money to help those less fortunate. My purpose in life is to help those less fortunate. And Brandon mentioned, hey, with all this stuff, he's still just a dad and just a husband. So how do you want your legacy to be, my dear friends? Do you have a passion in that way? Let's be reminded what Steve's beautiful passion was.
What good is a fast car, a flash house, and a gold-plated dunny to me? Absolutely no good at all. I've been put on this planet to protect wildlife and wilderness areas, which in essence is going to help humanity. I want to have the purest oceans. I want to be able to drink water straight out of that creek. I want to stop the ozone layer. I want to save the world. And you know, money's great. I can't get enough money. And you know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to buy wilderness areas with it. Every single cent I get goes straight into conservation. And guess what, Charles? I don't give a rip whose money it is, mate. I'll use it and I'll spend it on buying land. What good is a fast...
And that's exactly what he did. Surprisingly, a small amount went to Steve Irwin's family, according to the New Zealand Herald. And he may have been one of the most globally famous Australians, but Steve Irwin left surprisingly little in the way of inheritance to his children. Upon his untimely death in 2006, a crocodile hunter was indeed rolling in it. By some estimates, he had accrued more than 15 million Aussie dollars, 16 million US. He left his wife a life insurance policy at about 218,000. And the rest went to the Australia Zoo and the wildlife work. His wife said everything was reinvested into conservation work. He said he had ensured that the zoo had a business plan for the future, and its ownership went directly to Terry. You might be thinking his children got upset about that. The news is just trying to sensationalize that. I'm sure there was a moment of adjustment, but in the end, his son said, I hope that somewhere, somehow, he knows I'm trying to make him proud. What an honor to be such a great steward of what you were blessed with your time, treasure, and beautiful talent. Rest in peace, you beautiful man, Steve Irwin. Thank you for being a light in the world. And although you died early, you made an incredible impact. We're talking about you today, 19 years later. And I know we'll talk about you 19 years from now. Thank you for watching. Oh, and before we close, purchase prices of homes in the year 2006 was around $300,000. And today, they're around 422. It's about 41% more than 2006. So remember, my friends, just like Steve Irwin's legacy, having a purpose, having a clear calling on your life with your time, treasure, and talent. Real estate always increases in value, my dear friends. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Rental Property News.